it just seems that whatever happens in the first hour, hour and a half of the day sets the stage for the entire day. And if you start your day out with something like a TV news channel or a death scroll through social media, you're setting yourself up for failure. I didn't come up with the idea of giving up technology first thing in the morning. I think there's a lot of other people that can take credit for that. But I took that to a new level and not only decided to stay away from technology, the computer, my cell phone, news, or anything else, but I went to the things that I thought were probably going to benefit me the most for the rest of the day. And over time, I've developed a list, and that list is pretty dynamic. You know, it changes week by week, month by month, depending on where I am and what habits I'm adopting and some of the things that I might decide aren't really worth continuing on with. But I call it my daily stack, and it starts as soon as I get up out of bed. And right now, it's fairly simple. You know, I weigh myself, I brush my teeth, I take my vitamin B12, I hit the ground, I knock out 25 push-ups, I do some stretching, and then I make my bed, and then my reward in the middle of that is an espresso. So I have to get those things done before I go out there and get my first shot of caffeine. And then I'll sit down and I do journal, usually some gratification, make some journal entries about both health, physical, emotional state, what I liked about the day before. Not a long time in there, maybe a page, and then I move on. And so the next thing that I'll do is take a long walk, followed by a cold plunge, which might not be for everybody, but it's part of the morning that I enjoy the most. And just continue through this routine. And over the last couple of years, it has changed quite a bit. You know, it's gotten a little bit more organized. You know, in the beginning, I was kind of just a list of things that I was going to do, and no specific order to them. And having a stack is important for a couple of reasons. And one is that once you start one of these and you follow one habit with another habit, it's much easier to get through them. If I said I'm going to do these 12 things to make my life better today, and I just left them on that list to tackle at any given moment, you know, you might be distracted by something in the middle of this. I'm going to go do this and this. Okay, I brushed my teeth, I took my vitamins, and then I go to the computer because I'm just going to check that one email. And when you do, you know, that turns into a downward spiral. I don't know exactly what happened to me, but all of a sudden I'm on some page I shouldn't be. And I've been on the computer for an hour and a half, and all of these things I was going to do that were great for myself just didn't happen. I got absorbed in Facebook or something else along the way. So, and technology is obviously a part of all of our lives, and there's no way that we're ever going to be able to live without it. And it can be just as beneficial as it is detrimental. So if used properly, it can save you a lot of time and you can accomplish a lot of things. But when I get through my morning stack and I've gotten to a point where I'm going to go get my work done, whatever that is, I'll normally make myself a couple notes and say, look, hey, this is what I'm going to do when I hit the computer. And I'll show you something. This might be a little embarrassing, but I have this old-fashioned gadget here at Sandower. And so this is a 30-minute timer. And I'll give myself 30 minutes when I get on the computer. Here's the things that I need to do. And not just 30 minutes, but my game is really to leave with as much sand on the top of that glass as I can. So if I've got 5 things to do on the computer, I want to get those 5 things done and get off the computer and get back to life with as much sand left in my hourglass as possible. And I do a pretty good job of that most times. I use that tool again and again. I won't, if I have a number of things to do that involve technology, I won't put them all in one pile, because if you sit down to a computer or in front of the television or on a tablet or whatever it is you're using, you've got a real dopamine suck there. You know, you're not going to be doing yourself any favors if you end up spending 90 minutes in front of a screen at a time. So breaking those up is almost as beneficial as doing all of the good things at the beginning in one big stack. So, you know, not only are you going to get these things out of the way and do them so that they get done and you don't procrastinate and put them off and not get them done at all, but you're going to feel better about this for a couple reasons. And one is, you've created this foundation, like building a foundation for your house. You know, you can't start the rest of your day until you know this is where it's going. I've done all these great things. You're going to have a much more positive day because you've done these. You're going to have less anxiety because you're not worried about getting them done later. Okay, I need to do this. I'm going to have to work out. I need to go walking. If those things haven't been done and they're in the back of your mind while you're working less efficiently because you're concerned about these things that you may or may not get done. If some urgency comes up, the next thing you know, it's 5 o'clock. you haven't gotten the things done that were on your list. You're just completely distraught with yourself. I'm a worthless piece of, I can't stick to anything. So there's a lot of benefit to getting these out of the way early in the day, and you're going to find that it really makes your day go better from morning to night. You'll be happier with yourself throughout the entire day. And if you pick the right things to put in your morning stack, it's going to make your day, your week, your month, and your life better. I think one of the things that got me on the idea of creating a morning stack was originally my workout. I'll go into the gym 3 days out of the week at no specific time in the beginning. So this was just kind of as time would allow, I would get the workout in. And although I was really good about getting them done, and I was going to get 13 and a half workouts on average a month, and I would nail that number no matter what happened, a lot of times I found myself anxiety ridden at the end of the day, or putting off something else important that I needed to get done in order to go rush out and get my workout done because I hadn't done it in the beginning of the day. And looking back on that day, most often I find that there was so much wasted time. I had done some silly things that I didn't really need to be doing. I had wasted some time on some urgent and unimportant tasks that I just let take away my day. And then I started making myself a little bit of a schedule. Before it was a stack, so to speak, it was more of a calendar. And I even put these things into Google Calendar point, like I'm going to work out at 11 o'clock. And then as I got doing some other things, it's like, okay, I'm going to meditate at 9 o'clock, or I'm going to do my breathing exercises at 9 o'clock, and I'm going to walk because this weather is going to be good today at 10:30. I'm going to take my dog for a walk at 10:30. So it started out as a bit of as a personal calendar of events that were going to happen. And then I would work in my work around those particular tasks. And over time, I realized that when I had these things in my schedule, that sometimes I was just wasting the filler events. In between there, it's like, I'm going to walk at 9:30. I'll be done at 10. I'm not scheduled to go to the gym until 11. And I would just waste that hour from 10 to 11 doing some sort of dopamine suck, whatever it was, shopping on Facebook Marketplace, or just something that was a complete waste of time. And then little by little, it evolved, and it started with just a few things as a note on the mirror in the morning, just to kind of get me in the mood of doing the things that were best for me, or a reminder like, hey, these are the things you need to do today. And then over time, it became like, just do them, like just get them done. And I've heard a lot of other people use that. If the thing you're going to do takes less than 10 minutes, just do it right now. And that was really the approach. That a lot of these habits that I stacked were all very short individually. And even, to be honest with you, when you put them collectively together, this morning, I think I had everything done in about an hour. Everything that I wanted to do for myself for the entire day. Today's not a day that I go to the gym. It's a B day. So it's a little bit shorter, but I got everything knocked out. I did my morning routine, my push-ups and my stretching, and I took my vitamins, and I went on a walk, and I cold plunged, and I showered and shaved, and got all of that stuff done, the bed made, laundry and all that. And it took a grand total of 60 minutes. And it's just incredible when you stay on task, how little time those things take. And then you've got so much time. It's like, wow, now I still have the whole day. And I don't need to fret about all of the things that I wanted to do that I didn't do. And it reduces anxiety as a whole. There's absolutely no doubt about it that with getting all of those things that are important to you out of the way makes you have less anxiety, and it leaves time for the urgencies. No matter what you do for a living or where your life is, there's going to be some sort of urgency. I don't care if your cat needs to go to the vet or one of your employees has a meltdown. There's always something. There's a problem that needs to be addressed every day. And by getting your morning stack out of the way, you leave yourself open to be able to address those urgencies. Yeah, I'll get you a shot. I write in my journal with my left hand when I start out every morning. It's a neuroplasticity trick that I make the first 2 lines with my left hand. I write in red, so I'll remember later on that I wasn't having a seizure or something, that this